layer overlap with the purple foam. The Prairie View brand can be seen on the pull tabs with the gold laces and stripes. I'm sorry, not the gold stripes showing up the Adidas logo on the rear heel. So pretty neat design. I've never seen a shoe design like that. So these Volume 8s are part of the quintet of Adidas signature sneakers, with each one dedicated to an affiliated HBCU that includes Grambling, UAPB, or University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, Alcorn State, Alabama State, and yes, Prairie View A&M. So kudos to James for representing HBCUs in the NBA. So
shout out. I like that. They were cool. I got to find my way to get a whole.
I got to get these, man. These G's are very unique. I've never seen a sneaker design like this.
What even was surprised, obviously. Go ahead, Charles.
No, I was saying that is a very 21st century design sneaker. I haven't seen one look like that.
Exactly.
Well said. Yeah. I thought it was neat that they had some of their top players, in this case, represent the various HBCUs, happen to be all SWAC, 5 of them in this case, that all are under the Adidas contract. So you talked about Harden, obviously, with the Prairie View. Yeah, Minnesota Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. You mentioned all 5 of them, but just to get them specifically out there, Milwaukee Bucks guard Damian Lillard, Alabama State University of Hornets, Atlanta Hawk guard Trae Young has the Auburn State Braves series, and Cleveland Cavaliers guard Don Mitchell of Grambling State University. And then, obviously, as you said, Los Angeles Clippers guard James Harden with the Prairie View A&M Panthers. So fascinating in terms of just that unique. Closing up, I want to sneak one in there. Pretty excited about this, obviously. In a lot of ways, it's pretty cool in terms of HBCU game. They gave a shout out to Langston. They put up there that the best basketball program in HBCU sports, top program, is Langston University men's. We've been talking about that all season. In a lot of ways, they're now 23-1, dominating the competition at the NAIA. They're seeking another run for regular season championship, well on their way, conference championship, and then ultimately a national championship, stacked with D1 talent, transfers, JUCOs, as we talk about many of your programs, but you see that right there, getting it done. Fascinating to see what's going on, as argue maybe even outdoing in terms of the total shine where they are with the program. Yeah, SWAC, CIAA, SIAC, wanted to make sure we share them some love. Sneaking a little bit, though, about the SIAC, not so fast, Clark Atlanta University, as Woo. They have just won 13 games in a row. Woo. Team that took down Benedict right after Morehouse did. They took down Morehouse to make it shine. And as we talked about, that East division of the SIAC is massive. I have to mention the West with Miles over there, but man, that tournament should be something else. But they had a close one at home in Atlanta. You know, I always sneak about, man, it'd be nice to be able to go to Atlanta and see a Division I program. Well, we heard a little bit about Morehouse. You know, I'm still got my favorites in Clark Atlanta. But with that being said, let me give them a shine while they're doing it at the Division II level in the SIAC. They hit a 3 at the buzzer. The sitting home Edward Waters University, big-time shot, big-time play as they get it done, as they add 13 in a row, another team out there to watch at the Division II level as well as the NIA level with Langston University. With that, let's take our first break. Come back on the other side. Before we do that, it looks like Charles maybe wanted to shout out another team that I didn't.
Yeah,
I'd like to shout out another one as well too, if it's okay, Doc and Charles.
Let's shout out here, man. Go ahead.
Real quick, I want to shout out Howard women's softball team. Big win over UConn. The Bison opened one of the biggest wins in program history, beating Big East champion UConn to start off their softball season. So definitely want to give a shout out to Howard softball for getting that done. That was big.
That is big. Nice shout out, Mike.
And real quick, this was all over social media and chat lines. If you watched the halftime show, for those of you who watched the Super Bowl, you saw a band. And I messed with Steve B. I said, man, I heard it was a high school band. And he was like, you better think about it. So Jackson State, University of our three universities, Sonic Boom of the South marching band made a special appearance with Grammy Award-winning artist Usher during the Super Bowl halftime show in Las Vegas. The Boom showed the viewers and fans how they step. They are known as the summa cum laude of bands. Okay, really? Who gave them that name? Really? Who
The
gave
summa
them
cum laude, baby. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Making the most of a one-time lifetime opportunity. Congrats to them. I saw them. I was at first, there were people like, is that Southern or what in there? And then all of a sudden, no, that's the Sonic Boom, baby. All came through the media, so I had to mess with CB.
I had to make an immediate correction in our chat room, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Just all out, but well deserved, man. They showed up and showed out, getting it done. With that being said, we'll be right back after this first break.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it
Yeah.
I love my HBCU, and boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU, and man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah, man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with a special edition 486 and counting. Countdown to 500. And Charles has us doing a special edition. You know, Charles is a big baseball fan, and I couldn't think of a better thing to do than give some love to all the HBCU baseball coaches. So we'll do a little special edition on them with some prime interviews to give you some thoughts on what's taking place. With that being said, welcome to episode 486 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. the show is covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports. For institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs in the business of HBCU sports. Simply put, we just call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with co-host Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCWH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Fame in a beautiful home at Texas Southern University. With that being said, usually I would say Mike is out on assignment, but since this is a special edition, I'm not sure it's to the point to kind of put that on him since we snuck in there. But I think we can carry on and make sure that share him some love. Now, don't get it twisted. Mike Washington is a big baseball fan, played a little bit himself. He'll like to tell you he played a lot. That's a different discussion. His sons played, and oddly enough, they matriculated to lacrosse as they went to high school. But they played a lot of baseball young, and he traveled. He traveled, did all the good stuff. And then they flipped the switch on him, and he continued to travel with them. They got scholarships, so I guess it worked out with that being said. But shout out to Mike. With that being said, without further ado, Charles, what are your thoughts on this special segment today?
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to a few coaches, especially when you take a look at the baseball around the SWAC. And we saw last year how baseball season really captured the imagination of quite a few fans from weekend to weekend. We had exciting action. And what we're seeing, especially now within the SWAC, is just the parity that you're starting to see, not only in the SWAC East, in the SWAC West, teams that were considered blue bloods of yesteryear. When you talk about Jackson State, Southern, Grambling, they're fighting it out now with the Alabama States, the Bethune-Cookmans, the Florida A&M's of the world. And we saw Florida A&M as they ascended to the throne last year in the 2023 SWAC tournament. So I'm looking forward to the ping of the bat as it gets going this weekend. Cactus Jack Classic this weekend, Andre Dawson Classic next weekend. So they're going to be a lot of great baseball action as we slowly slide out of basketball season and baseball season.
MLB Classic the weekend after that. So as we get into this non-conference play, I really think baseball is unique that you have it set up where you have a lot of baseball classics that create these matchups that you don't always see. Some of them they bring back in terms of natural rivalries, but you also get some cross-sectional games that you don't get until the end of the year if these teams qualify for the SWAC tournament. To your point, the SWAC is a 12-member league, and all 12 members play baseball. But much like basketball, which we see on men's and women's side, the top 8 go to the tournament. And the winner of the tournament qualifies for the NCAA automatic bid. And now that the MEAC does have 4 teams that play baseball, but they are part of a agreement where they play as part of the NEC because currently the MEAC doesn't have 6 required teams to have a MEAC baseball thing and qualify for the NCAA, which is the minimum standard. So the only Division I conference out there is the SWAC, and you have some of the best teams in a lot of people's argument come over from the MEAC with FAMU and Bethune-Cookman and join the SWAC, which alludes to your point that those blue bloods that literally dominated the conference for 3 decades, if you would, some people may say further back than that, which was Grambling, Southern, and Jackson State. As things opened up, you saw other teams get into the action. Alcorn, Prairie View, Texas Southern got in the mix, winning postseason championships, some regular season championship. And the last one to kind of get over that hump was Alabama State. Well, that already created a deep enough field, if you would. Even Pine Bluff getting into the mix a little bit here and there. Alabama A&M a couple of years got into the mix of flirting with what it meant to, make the tournament, push through the tournament. But now you add FAMU and Bethune-Cookman, with FAMU getting the ultimate prize last year of winning the conference championship. So it's fascinating to see what all this looks like as you continue to churn. And so you have teams like Texas Southern, once they got in the mix and went up the ground, they're selected 4th. You got teams like Jackson State that has won an open round tournament game that was really controlling the East in a lot of ways. Alabama State was in the mix. I'll make sure we include that, just like Prairie View and Texas Southern. But now those teams with Jackson State selected 4 in the East, which pushed to your point of what that looks like. So today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab was sponsored by THG Agency LLC. THG Agency is a company that provides sporting and educational consulting and data analytics. Before I give you a chance maybe to share a little bit of your news, I want to jump in here as you mentioned this. As you break off this weekend, we're in a great position to be right here in Houston for the 2nd annual Cactus Jack HBCU Classic. This is at least a 3-year contract that will see this go on for at least 3 years. Starts Friday, February the 16th through Sunday, February the 18th, when it closes at Minute Maid Park. The Classic is an annual round-robin collegiate baseball classic designed by the Astros Foundation and the Astros Youth Academy to highlight historically Black colleges and universities and their baseball programs. The 9-game tournament will feature 8 Houston's area Prairie View, A&M, and Texas Southern University, and 4 schools from neighboring Louisiana and Mississippi. Southern University and Grambling out of Louisiana, as you know. Jackson State and Alcorn State out of Mississippi. The round-robin format with 3 games each on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. State-to-state game matchups are part of the big Saturday matchup, which features JSU, Alcorn, Grambling State, Southern, Texas Southern. Prairie View is the nightcapper. There's a college fair hosted by the Astros Youth Academy, highlighted over 100 colleges and universities. Be sure to arrive each game early, as they have 800 exclusive Travis Scott Cactus Jack bobbleheads. I got mine. Deuce has his prominently displayed in his room, which is presented by the Cactus Jack Foundation, will be distributed upon entry by fans 1 hour prior to each of the 3 games on each day. Minute Maid roof projects from rain and excessive heat ballpark, so maybe open, maybe closed based on how the weather is treating you. We'll see what that looks like. The other beautiful thing, Charles, you were up here on campus for Black History Month, also to talk about Astros and being in the business of sport with our sport management program, both at the undergraduate and graduate level. It was particularly nice to see the dignitaries, African Americans that are attached at various leadership roles in the Houston Astros, come to our campus and talk to us in general, our students, about being a part of baseball in various capacities, and obviously showcase that this game was coming up and allowing some of our students to get complimentary tickets for this event. Any final thoughts that you want to talk about Cactus Jack?
Yeah, well, I wanted to take my hat off to the Astros Foundation in regards to everything that they're doing with regards to this Cactus Jack Baseball Classic, and especially the dignitaries who came to Texas Southern University, and it showed the burgeoning diversification of the front offices, if you will. And it was great in that they brought that perspective in terms of other things within sports that athletes and students can move into. And they did a great job, I think, of sort of providing a broad stroke of the many jobs and services that are you can see in baseball as well as other sports as well. So it was tremendous in terms of what they brought to Texas Southern that day in regards to Black History Month. And there's a lot of excitement around this Cactus Jack Classic. I think we saw it last year. Great turnout, especially early season matchups, Texas Southern and Prairie View. I remember that, I believe that was that Friday or Saturday night, but a great crowd on hand. And it was a preview of a lot of matchups coming up that past season where you saw everything was going to be on the line in regards to a great baseball game. And we also get some great East-West matchups when you got Jackson State going against Prairie View and Texas Southern and Grambling as well going against Jackson State and Alcorn. So it's great to get, like you said, see some of those early contests where you got a Eastern Division member going against a Western Division member.
Good stuff. Last year, I got to tease this out there. I got me a Reggie Jackson candy bar. I got his signature baseball as he was attached with it. Dusty Baker, I got to see him as he talked to the athletes last year as he was down getting ready for training camp, and that is the previous World Series champion coming into this season, World Series champion. So it just made my day. It was a great event all around. So I can't wait again this year. Well, let me go back to you and pass on some other news that you wanted to talk about a little bit.
Well, you mentioned the Cactus Jack Classic kicks things off this weekend, February 16th through 18th at Minute Maid Park. Let me mention the schools involved. Southern University will be in Houston this weekend. Jackson State, of course, Texas Southern being here in Houston. Grambling, Prairie View, and Alcorn will all be part of the second annual Cactus Jack HBCU Classic. Of course, February 16th through the 18th. Of course, the Classic is an annual round-robin collegiate baseball classic designed by the Astros Foundation and the Astros Youth Academy to highlight HBCUs and their baseball program. So looking forward to that tournament this weekend. Great baseball action. And like I said, the ping of the bats. It's always fun for me as a baseball fan for things to kick off like they are this weekend.
Let me give you the lineup before we get into this break and maybe get any final thoughts just about baseball, your excitement about baseball, some key matchups that you're looking for this year, and for what reason are they key for you. On Friday, you have your 11 o'clock game, which is Alcorn State. The Braves take on the Jaguars of Southern University. At 3 o'clock, Jackson State and Texas Southern. That's always a classic matchup.
Always.
7 o'clock is that nightcapper with Prairie View A&M and Grambling. These two teams fought for the regular season champion. Had some classic games. I think the difference between the finish was a game or two last year at the end of the season. On Saturday, we tell you about those historic matchups, Jackson State, Alcorn State, those state rivalry matchups, Grambling. That's at 11 a.m. The second game is at 3 o'clock again, which is Grambling and Southern, the nightcapper, which had a great crowd last year. It was Texas Southern and Prairie View, and boy, was it a classic game until Texas Southern pulled away late. On Sunday, you have the Grambling and Jackson State, early 11 o'clock a.m. game. That's always fascinating when those two programs get together for any sport. You have your Alcorn, Prairie View A&M, Southern, and Texas Southern, which is also a classic. You don't get to Southern Jackson State. They'll save that for the season. I'm sure teasing that a little bit, but you still get some other good matchups. It'll be fascinating to see exactly what that looks like. Any final thoughts before we take our first break?
Sure thing, and I wanted to bring out the predicted order of finish this year for the upcoming 2024 SWAC baseball regular season. Predicted order of finish, and looking at the SWAC East, Mississippi Valley comes in at 6th, Alabama A&M at 5th, Jackson State 4th, Florida A&M 3rd, Bethune-Cookman 2, and the Alabama State Hornets are predicted to take the SWAC East. When we take a look at the SWAC West, Alcorn comes in at 6th, UAPB at 5th, Texas Southern, we mentioned them, predicted order of finish at 4th, Southern at 3rd, Prairie View, number 2, and the Grambling State Tigers are predicted to win the SWAC West. So those are the predicted order of finish in the SWAC East and SWAC West.
Good stuff. Let's take our first break. We'll come back on the other side and get you some more information on your HBCU baseball as it's time for the ping of the bats, Charles. Let's get it on. People going to pick up them cleats and steal some bases.
Yes, indeed.
That's where it gets fun around here. Stick with us. Be right back after this first break.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8. He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
2, 1. Welcome into Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Of course, baseball kicks off this weekend, Cactus Jack Classic, Houston, Texas. And of course, we have here with us Coach Omar Johnson of the Jackson State University Baseball Tigers. Coach, welcome into the program.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
I tell you what, Jackson State, traditionally a strong program within the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Talk a little bit about your 2024 edition of the Baseball Tigers.
Well, we're young. We're really young, and a lot of new players. We had a lot of turnover from last year. One returning position player and one returning pitcher. So we're excited. We can't wait to get down there, over there, and play. To see actually what we have.
When you have a young team, what are some of the things that you have to do to kind of be successful to navigate your way through the SWAC East? Because you're talking about Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M, who won the SWAC tournament last year. But what are the things that Jackson State has to do this year to really be competitive in one of the toughest conferences, especially in divisions in baseball?
Well, our division is really tough. And I'm sure the other teams, Alabama A&M and Mississippi Valley, are going to improve from last year. I thought Mississippi Valley was a really good team last year. Mm-hmm. So our league is what it is, man. It's really, the baseball's changed. I've been around here a long time, and I've seen the baseball evolve into, it's really competitive. So you think about last year's, all the one-run games. The one run separates Bethune, Florida A&M, and Alabama State. It's surprising that all the close games that we've played. I have a lot of respect for those programs, but we have to play defense and pitch. That's the name of the game on our side. The guys are going to swing the bat. Alabama State, did a great job swinging the bat last year, but still it came down to pitching the defense.
Coach. No, I was going to say one of the things that, when you ask opposing coaches about the Omar Johnson brand of baseball, all say without a shadow of a doubt, brilliant tactician and the guts of a cat burglar, willing to do what it takes to move runners from base to base. But when you kind of assess what is the Omar Johnson brand of baseball?
Well, we you summed it up a little bit right there. Now we do all the little things to win games. We're going to move runners. We know the value in moving runners. Our whole philosophy is getting a run at third base for less than 2 outs. So we don't have to get a hit. So we're gonna have guys that can run. And we're gonna force the other team to have to swing the bat. We're not just gonna sit up there and walk guys and give them extra opportunities. This is not what we do. But yeah. We're gonna take what the game gives us. That's a better way to put it. We're gonna play old fashioned baseball. It's just, we're not sitting back and relying on the guy to hit a home run.
No doubt about it, Coach. I wanted to ask before we let you go, who are some names and faces that the HBCU baseball community should be on the lookout for this upcoming season?
Jordan McClatty, Miles White, Christian Womble. Brandon Haston. We have some ability. We're really excited. We're really excited about this team. So we have some guys that's going to contribute. That the depth is better than it's been in a while here. So we're excited.
No doubt. Well, Coach, I know you're busy getting prepared for this upcoming season. We wanted to thank you for stopping in to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab and giving us a preview of the 2024 edition of the Jackson State Tigers.
Appreciate it.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Omar Johnson. Jackson State University. What are your thoughts, Charles, in terms of the program? He said they're young. Got a bunch of pups, and when he said you only have one returning starter on the
that's pretty young. That caught my ear, especially when he said that one position player returning, one pitcher returning, one starting pitcher returning. So that's going to be a new addition of the Jackson State baseball Tigers this upcoming season. How quickly can they gel? How quickly can they be competitive in a rugged division? And that was one of the things that really stood out. And it makes you understand why they were probably picked to finish fourth, because they lost quite a bit from a team that was really, really good, a 30-win team last year.
Let me ask you this. When you look at the schedule, you have getting in the conference, that's February the 23rd. They come in with Mississippi Valley State. And that game, you have intriguing. They're going to play one in Itta Bena, then one back at home in Jackson. So they're kind of splitting that Saturday, Sunday. In terms of that, those matchups when you look at it. So what are your thoughts in terms of that mix, the fact that they're going to kick off on Friday at home, then they're going to go on the road to Itta Bena. Obviously, it'll flip when they return it later in the season. But the other question I have for you is the next set of 3 games are all going to be at Jackson against Alcorn State. Yeah. So they kind of get to step it up. Obviously, you got the rivalry factor. Yeah, not necessarily with the teams that are selected or predicted. You want to use that framework that are going to be at the top of the conference. Do you like that schedule kind of works out, knowing that they're young, or are you nervous from the fact that they're playing these rivalry games?
Well, I think playing those rivalry games really helps, especially the fact that they're young, especially when you look at the fact that it sort of ratchets up the intensity for when you do play the Bethune-Cookman, the Florida A&Ms, and the Alabama States. You really get to see where this young ball club is really early in terms of playing an improved Mississippi Valley State, as well as I anticipate Alcorn will be right in the thick of things in the West as well.
All right, with that, let's take our next break. We'll come back on the other side and get into some more of this baseball talk. Charles is killing it. Or am I just throwing fastballs? I don't know. I'm going to switch it up and throw them curves. With that, we'll be right back after this break.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna love, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab Baseball Preview Edition. Of course, we have with us Coach Jonathan Hernandez of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Coach, welcome into Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Appreciate it. Hope everyone's having a good time as we get going with opening day just a few days away. And, appreciate the time that you have set so we can talk about our baseball program here in Daytona Beach.
No doubt. Coach, you guys had a tremendous run last year, SWAC tournament, first ever SWAC championship appearance. But talk a little bit about this 2024 Bethune-Cookman Wildcat team.
Yeah, coming off a SWAC championship appearance, right, and we fell short of our goal. It gave us an opportunity to kind of fuel the fire a little bit going into this year. It's unfinished business. That's kind of been the motto, throughout the course of the fall. Leading up to, what could be a really good year, for us here at Bethune-Cookman. But just excited about the work that the guys have put in this fall from day one. We did have a lot of turnover with graduation, guys getting opportunities to go play pro ball. But at the end of the day, we're just excited to get this thing rolling in the next couple of days.
You talked a little bit about the turnover that your program has had, but you got out on the recruiting trail, one of the highest ranked JUCO classes in Bethune-Cookman history. Talk a bit about what you brought in.
Yeah, if you look at the landscape of college athletics all the way across the board with the transfer portal, how that's affected, not only Division I, but athletics as a whole. For us, we just wanted to revamp the roster. Here at Bethune, we don't rebuild, we reload. And I think that we did a really good job. And our coaches did a really good job of identifying and evaluating the junior college talent, not only here in the state of Florida, but across the country to bring in what we feel is a pretty good class, given the rankings. But that's all, opinions by other people. We just got to go out and play baseball to the way that we always do here at Bethune. And we're definitely excited about the class that's here at Bethune.
Everybody talks in regards to baseball, pitching and defense. You have one of the better pitchers in the league. Talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, we look at, Daniel Gaviria, who's the preseason SWAC pitcher of the year. For us, he's our Sunday starter, and he's going to continue to be in that role. So, I think it's great when you have the SWAC preseason pitcher of the year pitch on Sundays for us. But again, for us, it's pitching and defense, right? Like, you're never going to outslug your way to a championship. You're going to have to pitch and defend with the best of them. And, I think that we identified that. You look at Nolan Santos, who was drafted in the 7th round. A big part of the success that we've had here at Bethune the last couple of years. We had to go and replace, or attempt to replace a guy like that. So I think that we've done a really good job. Our coaches have done a phenomenal job on the recruiting trail to bring in, that talent here to Daytona Beach.
Coach, when you take a look at it, the SWAC East, we talk about the gauntlet that is the SWAC East with FAMU, Alabama State, Jackson State, but everybody, I think when you take a look at the parity within the league, both in the SWAC East and SWAC West, we had a phenomenal SWAC tournament last year, and that competition is going to be right there again this upcoming season, correct?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you look at the SWAC East, right, with Alabama State, FAMU, Jackson State, us, it's going to be a much improved Alabama A&M team and a much improved Mississippi Valley team with, what we've seen. And, even on the west side, with Grambling, Prairie View, Texas Southern, UAPB, just everybody in the conference as a whole has gotten better. And that's, the attention to detail by all the coaches, right, that this does mean something, for all of us here. Not that it didn't before, but just the attention that, the SWAC has been getting on a national scale. And, I've said it before, I think the SWAC baseball conference has an opportunity to really continue to propel the SWAC moving forward. But the SWAC East, man, any given weekend, anything can happen. So, there's not a weekend that you can take off. You have to be ready to, play, 9 innings, 3 games, throughout a weekend to be successful. And I definitely do think that for us last year, the East, schedule allowed us to get to, us a championship appearance against FAMU.
No doubt. Well, Coach, you laid it out for the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Looking forward to what you guys bring into the 2024 season. And once again, thank you for coming on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the baseball preview.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hail Wildcats.
Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Hail Wildcats.
There it is.
Charles, another great, solid interview, man. You knocked these out, man. Let me throw you this curveball with this Bethune-Cookman Wildcats schedule. And they kick it off and they have a good in-state rival, unlike the other schools where you get these classics involved and things like that nature. You don't see Bethune-Cookman necessarily involved in those HBCU classics, if you would. But they have a nice, solid in-state rival with Florida Gulf Coast coming in. And then you have Northwestern out of the Big Ten coming down to Daytona Beach. So to get that on your schedule is really nice. They also have Maine coming out of there for a really solid matchup. Now, when you get into conference play, they start off on the road. They go to Mississippi Valley that first weekend in Itabena. Well, guess what? Much like you saw Jackson State playing their rival pretty early, Bethune-Cookman does as well. The second weekend, they host FAMU. And we know last year they got the best of FAMU in the regular season, but not so much in the championship. And in terms of where teams finished at the top of this conference, these matchups went a long way in determining. What are your thoughts in terms of the early part of this schedule? You heard some of the non-conference, and then how you kick things off as you get in the conference. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and just in talking to Coach Hernandez, I think that's the secret to some of the sauce in terms of the way they schedule. You mentioned Maine, you mentioned Northwestern teams they'll be playing. We know they play great baseball in the state of Florida. And then when you're talking about all these northern schools, good programs from the north that kind of sort of flood the South, especially in the early part of the season, playing in a warmer climate so they can get games in. I think, and that's probably a question for the professor. Does it benefit Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman just a little bit more to have some quality teams, playing in the area, especially early in the season? So I think, the byproduct of that is what we saw in the SWAC tournament. This was a very sound baseball team, a very game baseball team. You could not keep them down. Every time they got behind, they fought their way back into every game, and thus that's how they got the appearance in the SWAC championship game. So it's going to be very interesting, especially this Bethune-Cookman team picked to finish right behind Alabama State. But you talk about a guy like Daniel Gaviria, who was a tremendous arm for Bethune-Cookman last year. Coach talked about him being the Sunday starter, and he was, a good solid starter, especially when you had Nolan Santos as that Friday starter, sort of the hammer, if you will, to open the series, and Gaviria to finish the series. But you talk about an individual, 13 starts last year. You're talking about 3 complete games, struck out 46, walked only 14, and he's tied for the second lowest mark in the SWAC, amongst those qualified arms. So I think Bethune-Cookman, of course, they are going to be one of those top teams that teams week in, week out have to contend with.
Good stuff when you talk about that. To answer your question, in terms of the non-conference schedule, I don't know if it's enough to really say how much that helps you. I will say this, though, to your point, which I think is getting really deeper in there, what they're able to play during their midweek games.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the luxury of playing those teams out of Florida that are really good. For example, they have a Florida International. And the other thing that I think is really good for them is they get teams to visit them just as much as they go to them. So they have Florida International at home in Daytona. They got a midweek game against Florida. Then they go down to Miami essentially to play against Florida International. They have a Jacksonville at home. They go to North Florida and they have them at home. South Florida at home. They go to Tallahassee with Florida State. They have South Florida in Tampa. They have Stetson at home, another Florida private school there, just as well as Jacksonville. Again, they play them at Jacksonville, Stetson at Stetson and Delane, Florida. So you get it. UCF as well in Orlando. So I think the midweek games they play probably helps a little more than just opening up the season in regards to that. But I think your question is spot on. You see that with Alabama State that plays a pretty aggressive schedule. FAMU plays a pretty aggressive schedule in terms of that looks like. When you see teams like Texas Southern and Prairie View, it's much harder, it seems, for them to get some teams at home. Prairie View's done a little better job in terms of being able to get the regional against Houston Baptist, maybe bringing in the Sam Houston State. But with Texas Southern playing in the park down there, it seems more challenge for them. Obviously, the announcement of a new baseball stadium, we'll see if that changes. So they play a little more NIA programs, which is good for the NIA programs. But I'm intrigued as your point. What does it look like when you get into that? So I'm fascinated when you kind of play this. The last thing I'll talk about is the end of schedule for Bethune-Cookman. They have that at Jackson on the road that week before things close. And the final weekend series before the SWAC tournament is against Alabama State at home in Daytona Beach. That could be a big deal when you talk about what that looks like closing things out going into it. So pretty excited about these schedules, how they're looking up. And, you know, we'll be keeping up it week in and week out. We'll do our little poll rankings to kind of check it out. And then you have the Baseball Nines that does great coverages, and they do their rankings. We vote in that poll rankings there. So I'm fascinated to kind of see what that looks like as the season curtails. In terms of Black College Nines baseball rankings, we'll get a chance maybe to talk a little bit about those season rankings and get your thoughts on that a little deeper into the show. But with that said, let's get into our next break and come back on the other side and talk a little more about HBCU baseball.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Ville with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop doing our special edition of Inside the Lab as we talk a little HBCU baseball, really digging into the SWAC. And guess who we have with us? None other than Coach Elliott Jones, head baseball coach of the Alabama A&M Bulldogs baseball program. Welcome to the show, Coach Jones.
Oh man, we're glad to have you. I'm glad that you guys having me, man. Excited about tomorrow's opening day, man, and followed you guys for a couple of years now. I like what you guys are doing for HBCU baseball.
I appreciate that.
Thank you,
Kudos. We'll
Coach.
make sure that check is in the mail for the program.
Yes, indeed.
With that being said, Charles, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, let's jump into it, Coach. And really, your program turned heads around the league last year with some quality wins in there. And I wanted to start off by asking, like, what does it take for this Alabama A&M program to turn the corner and get to that next level?
Well, I got to preach to our guys every day, man. It's just about being consistent and most importantly, being healthy. We inherited a program 4 years ago, so myself and my staff, we're in there in our fourth season. Starting tomorrow, and we finally kind of got us where we with every kid program we recruited. We didn't come in and cut kids. We made sure that we were able to graduate kids out from the previous coaching staff, and then get on the recruiting trails and really recruit hard on the different type of need base we needed to be successful. And so coming into this spring of 24, man, this is our fourth year, of course, which is our third recruiting class. I think we have some key pieces, some mixture of older and younger guys. But like I said, I'm excited about this group. But the main thing is if we can stay consistent and stay healthy, is going to be the key.
And I know you're blazing your own trail there at Alabama A&M with regards to their program, but I know I watched you play at Southern. I know you come from that Southern juggernaut, if you will. But in terms of baseball philosophy, what is it that Coach Jones brings to this Alabama A&M program?
Well, I've been part of the SWAC now. This is year 16, including as a player and then as a coach at three different institutions within in the conference. And I just bring experience when it comes to knowing what it takes to win in this league, knowing what it takes to be competitive, and knowing what it takes to take a program with minor resources at the Division I level to be successful. Fortunately, I was able to come underneath and learn a lot of things from Roger Kadar, who was my mentor. We talk daily, and also James Cooper, who is now with the New York Yankees as well, which we talk daily. So being able to be groomed by two veteran guys that have been in the conference a long time, I'm able to reap the benefits and along with my players, being able to treat them and give them some acknowledge to help us be successful down the road.
Let me follow up, Coach Jones, talk a little bit about, it seemed like you were turning the corner in a lot of ways, and I know this is the year where we can see it. But unfortunately, you had bigger things happen to you in terms of the program tragic to that area and how it affected the baseball field. How have you kind of bounced back since that time as you are excited about opening up this year?
Right here. Well, it's been really good. It's been, of course, as people, if you guys didn't know, 2 years ago we were hit with a tornado in the Huntsville area, and it wiped out our whole facility from top to bottom. And so we were unable to play a home game that year. We played on the road, basically playing at a local high school, just to get through the year. And so now we're at the point now with my administration and Dr. Paul Bryant and his staff. We've reaped the benefits now. We got the facility back to where it needs to be from a Division I standpoint, and there's much more to grow to go for us. I'm excited about it. And if you hadn't seen our facilities, Huntsville is a great and upcoming place to visit.
It is.
I brag about it all the time.
Yeah.
We're a hidden gem. I would say we're the hidden gem in the conference. And so our facilities have had major upgrades in the last 2 years, and I can finally say I see light at the end of the tunnel. To have facility upgrades as such that we've gone through, it gives it shows that the student athletes that you appreciate them and their hard work that they do every day for the university. So our guys are excited to see the different upgrades, and when we're going to the field for practice the last couple of months, seeing different upgrades has brought excitement to the kids.
Well, Coach, I will say this: tell your SID Brian Howard and AD, leave the light on for us up there in Huntsville. I love it coming up there.
Oh yeah, we gonna plan to get
Absolutely.
up there. Let me tell you a little inside of this before you jump back in there, Coach Jones. The fact is, my wife is alumni. We went up there for homecoming this year. She makes sure she got our son plays some baseball. So she schedules this around here and make sure that he gets his time in. So make sure we'll find a way to get that light on and come around there and make sure he introduces you, because I'd be in trouble if I go home and plug in. So I want you to know,
Absolutely.
Coach, good chick.
Our doors are always open. Like I said, I'm always in the business. Everyone wants to win and lose. And everybody wants to win actually in this profession, man. But I'm young, but I'm at the point in my life, man. It's more about how can we make these African-American young men of society better for us out down the road. Yeah, baseball is important, and also we want to win championships and win games. But what are we doing to make the sacrifices for these young men down the road?
Charles, can I follow up with another question there for you?
Yeah.
I want to ask a little bit about your scheduling philosophy. We've done that throughout the show. Talk a little bit about the various scheduling philosophy, if you would, or what we could glean from different teams. You know, we have some play a little bit of those rivalries within states, particularly their Tuesday lineup. Early in the season, we have some that play in the classics, afforded that opportunity. Others tend to play some rivalries. Some of people are able to get some teams from up north to come down, warmer weather to play like that. And then some even play NIA programs. Where are you in that region? I guess it may be more D2 with the HBCU programs in that area out of the SIAC. I don't know if they're part of your thoughts in general, short-term, long-term. Give some thoughts on that. Get some time in that area out of the SIAC.
Absolutely. We myself and my staff, we work together on making sure making the schedule competitive. I will say this: we have 55 games scheduled this year, and it's 4 games a week except for 2 weekends. And so we're creative. I want to be able to be tested early before we start conference play, and so. We're kind of in a mix of all that. We when it comes to our midweek games, we're in a central location where we can get to Atlanta, we can get to Memphis, we can get to Tennessee, get to Kentucky, and be able to make those trips turn around without any issues. And so, as far as our midweek games, I try to stay in the region and play schools and universities that's willing to do home and home with us. Because I think that's a key factor for us, especially when we have the facilities to be able to host these type of schools. And so our midweek games are home and home. Like this year, we're doing home and home with University of Tennessee Martin. We're doing home and home with Tennessee Tech. We're doing home and home with North Alabama. We'll never do home and home right now with Tennessee, but we're there on the schedule in the SEC. And so as far as our weekend schedules, we open up this weekend with a non-conference but conference schedule.
I like that.
Weekend with Arkansas Pine Bluff, because if you know, SWAC is the one sport that we don't cross over, and so I have a great relationship with Carlos James over at Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and so we've kind of come to an agreement on we will open up there this weekend, and then next year they'll return the trip to us. And then the second weekend, man, I have a great relationship with Blake Beamer over at Butler University. One of the minority coaches that are in the Power 5 schools, and so they're coming down from Indiana, trying to get into warmer weather. I can't say it's gonna be warmer here in Huntsville, but it'll be a little warmer than it is right now in Indianapolis.
Right.
And so that's that we'll be there. And then the third weekend, we're at University of New Orleans, in New Orleans, in a Southland opponent. And then the fourth weekend before we start conference, we're on the road at University of Louisiana Monroe, another team that's part of the Sun Belt. And so we're just I want to be able to create some excitement, but give us some tests to see. I want to see our guys face a little adversity, see how we overcome it, and how we're tested on the road, because people really sleep on our conference, man. Our conference is really tough, man.
Yeah.
Specifically on our side of the conference, man, on the east side, man. Like it's it's the wild, wild west of our conference, man. And so you can get someone's best every weekend. And so you got to be able to build these guys up for that competitive environment and for those tough ball games. And so like, we play a strong non-conference schedule to try to prepare us for those 30 conference games on our side.
I like you sticking up for the East Division of the SWAC there. I like the way you did that.
I've been on both sides. I would say, like as a player, I was on the East side, and as a coach, I started on the West side. As a player, I was on the West side, and so I've seen this conference at its best in baseball. I've seen it at its worst. And the last couple of years, when with knowing that Bethune-Cookman and FAMU is part of our conference now, specifically on the East side. Man, it's rough in a good way. And with having Alabama State already and having Jackson State as well, like it's no days off. Like you gotta prepare like you're playing Alabama every weekend.
Yeah, understood.
I like what you did with your schedule. I will say that particular partnering with a team on the other division, in this case Pine Bluff, the relationship, and flipping it for the 2 years so you have the chance. And your kids get a chance to experience a different facility still within the conference, then you mix in. So I love it. So I appreciate what you did with the schedule. With that being said, we're going to let you go, Coach. Appreciate your time. We'll see about getting you back on the show throughout the season, see if we get some time. I know it's a full schedule, but we'll see if we can work around and iron it out. We love to hear some updates with you.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, again, I can't thank you guys enough, man. The time and dedication you guys have put into HBCU baseball, man. It's some years and excitement that I'm glad that we're actually seeing the light now, man. So you guys keep up the good work, man. And like I said, we're a phone call away here at Alabama A&M.
No doubt about it.
Thank you, Coach.
You. Like I said,
all right, y'all take care.
We need that endorsement. We're going to play that all the time. Thank you, Coach.
Got you, guys.
We'll be right back after this next break.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
I'm returning to Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being heard.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna love, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. We have none other than Coach Michael Robinson, head baseball coach at Texas Southern University. Several SWAC championships on his leisure, including obviously appearances in the NCAA tournament. He's back in the action, starting things off this weekend in the Cactus Jack HBCU Classic. With that being said, Coach, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing fine. Feeling good.
I see you. Charles, go ahead. Take it away.
Yeah, well, Coach, I tell you, every time I come to work, I see you guys in the weight room, working out there and getting the paces in. And I just wanted to ask the 2024 Texas Southern Baseball Tigers. Well, what are we going to look at when we see them Friday in the Cactus Jack Classic?
Well, we're looking for some great things from our kids, but of course we know that it's the opening weekend of the season, and so of course everything that we've done up to that point is just going to be a byproduct of where we're trying to get the kids to be for the postseason. We really hone in on trying to prepare them for the postseason, and so we try to play an aggressive preseason schedule. And we're fortunate to open up the season here in Houston. Any events such as the Cactus Jack tournament, giving the kids an opportunity to showcase their skills on a major league field, and being associated with a classic such as this with 5 other legitimate schools in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. It gives us a great chance to have a competitive weekend.
You always do such a tremendous job with regards to recruiting for your program. And I wanted to ask, who are some of the names and faces that the Texas Southern baseball fans should be looking for this upcoming season?
We have quite a few new guys again this year, much like last year. We brought in 16 JUCO players on last season and this season. So we have a lot of seniors on our ball club, but we have a lot of new players as well. So we pretty much junior, senior, Latin. I would say some of the guys to look out for would be Jason Lazo. He's been swinging it well for us. He'll probably be DHing this weekend. We got this big kid from Houston. He went to Dickinson, Jose Villalobos. Between him and EJ Alanis, they'll be at first base. Both of them will be producing some power swings for us and driving in runs for us. Hopefully this weekend they'll get off to a good start. And, of course, CJ Castillo. CJ was first team all-conference last year. So he's going to start Friday night, and we're going to try the two-way thing with him and see how that goes. But he'll be starting Friday night, and he'll return back to shortstop for Saturday and Sunday ball game.
Man, that's pretty dynamic. Let me jump in here, Coach, and get a piece of this. We have the luxury as we open up the show in a lot of ways. We talked about the bigger picture of the SWAC. When at one time it was what a lot of people call the Big Three, Grambling, Jackson State, and Southern, kind of carrying the torch for the SWAC. Things opened up with Texas Southern, and then you came along at Prairie View and really changed the window where you started seeing a lot of other teams, if you would, starting to ascend to the top of the conference. You moved over to Texas Southern and brought them back into championship contention. Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts in terms of the conference, of how it changed, particularly in this iteration with the expansion? How has that did you in terms of recruiting?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's changed dramatically from when I first came in the Southwestern Athletic Conference 22 years ago. You're exactly right. It was a 2-team. 22 years. It's been 22 years.
Congratulations.
It was actually thank you. It was a 2-team horse race. Of course, on our side, it was always Southern. Southern dominated. I mean, my first year at Prairie View was, I tell you, it was a year to remember because we went 10-45. The year before I got there, they were 3-48. And every kid that I tried to recruit was already headed to Southern. And they were kids from Houston. So we had to get them to change their mindset about Prairie View, which we did, but long story short, you're exactly right. The landscape changed very quickly because we was able to, recruit Houston better. And I think by our third year, everything started to change in the SWAC because we played in the championship, and then we played in the championship for 4 straight years at Prairie View. And I think because of what we did, a lot of athletic directors and stuff start paying attention and say, hey, if we get the right hire, then we may be able to do the same thing in baseball. And so, look, fast forward and, where we're at right now with bringing in the 2 schools in the MEAC, those were the top 2 schools in baseball. So we knew right ahead that, hey, we changed dramatically overnight again. It was already tough with Jackson State, Alabama State, and Southern and Grambling, and then ourselves. And then, of course, Prairie View is coming on. But now, lo and behold, we got Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M, who have 2 extremely good coaches. They recruit well. And, they're going to run some pitches at you, especially Bethune-Cookman. I would say they probably have the best arms in the conference year in and year out. And then Florida A&M, they just coach very well. So, it makes for a very, very good environment in terms of competition in our conference. Things have really changed. And it just gives a feather in our cap for what we're doing in HBCU because, we have an opportunity to beat. I feel like we can beat any Power 5 school in a 1-game series. We just had a winner take all. It's up for grabs. We fall a little bit short, mostly because your money and your stuff like that, the transfer portal and stuff like that, it affects you. In terms of having that second and third starter in the conference or that special guy on the end. But we're getting there. We're starting to close the gap.
Interesting.
Charles?
Yeah, I wanted to ask in terms of the Cactus Jack Classic, playing in a Major League Baseball stadium, what does it mean in terms of having your players play in a Major League Baseball stadium to start the season?
Well, for some of them, it's going to be the closest they get to Major League Baseball. Everybody is not going to be able to play Major League Baseball, but what we try to get the kids to understand and not try to, I'm not trying to cut it off, but there's a lot of opportunities out there now in Major League Baseball. Jobs, internships, and stuff like that. So this is a big part of it. This started off actually as, was supposed to be like just a tournament, but it has turned out to be something really, really big because Paula Harris of the Astros, she wanted it to be big. This is an event. This is an opportunity for kids to, showcase their talent on and off the field. They have a lot of stuff going on this weekend, but just for the player himself, I mean, how what else you want in order to, have an opportunity to play in a major league stadium, and you're going to have a lot of scouts there. You're on national TV. You're going to be seen across the country. It's a great, just really a good opportunity for the student athlete.
That's awesome.
Talk a little bit about that trip to Lubbock. Man, they've been playing some pretty good baseball. Texas is huge, and people may not realize it. That's a long trip. Talk about
that's a long trip, and we're gonna be down there for the whole weekend. We better boat up and make sure that we come down there ready to pitch it well, play defense, because you're exactly right. Coach Tadlock, he does a good job with recruiting, and then their stadium, their facility. That's one of the best stadiums in college baseball, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's why
it is. That stadium is awesome. So, I don't have to tell you about
they pack some fans in there to cheer him on.
They pack some fans in there. Yeah. Yeah, he got good corporate sponsorship down there. And
okay.
So, we're looking for a big weekend. Also with that, it's an opportunity for us to get battle tested early in the season and to see where we fare against a Power 5 school that's probably going to be in we know they're going to be in the Super Regional to the World Series every year. So his team never changes. You're playing one of the best teams in the country. So we're looking forward to it.
Last question I have for you, Coach. I want to ask this in a little introspective. Obviously, you talked about Houston Tillins and coming from the NIA programs, HBCU programs that gave you a chance. And I imagine, and we kind of talked about this off the record, so I imagine a little bit about, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about why it's important to play those games against like a Wiley College or Houston Tillotson, I should say, even though you have all these other NCAA Division I big programs you mix in there, but you make sure that you provide a little love for the NIA programs.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for them to see where they're at, just like us when we play against a Power 5 school. So, the other thing is that, it also gives us a chance to look at that 9th or 10th guy in the rotation and give him a start, or maybe some kids that, that we don't normally start, but right there on the cusp, or maybe a young kid like the little kid we got from Langham Creek. He'll play shortstop for us, and the games against Tillerson and Wiley, and we'll see where he's at and where we need to go with his development. And then Jalen Branch, he's a freshman that has a really good arm to give us an opportunity to see him, put him on display. He's not ready yet for a team like Texas Tech or Texas A&M, or maybe even a Southern, but it gives us an opportunity to see where he's at with his development and see what we need to go in terms of, putting a plan together to get him ready for us in the postseason or further down the road in the next couple of years.
Thank you, Coach. I know your time was valuable, and to see you went the extra mile to give us some of your time, so we really appreciate it. Be safe out there. I did want to say, man, I'm excited about this weekend, boy. There's some classic matchups. Got Jackson State, Prairie View, the nightcapper. Rivalry game is always big, and then, as you said, over the years, whether it was Prairie View, now Texas Southern, that matchup against Southern, they just classic. So people understand some good baseball, good rivalry games that have long history, multiple coaches.
I agree with you 100%. Let me tell you, the big game for us it's going to be Friday against Jackson State. There's a lot of history between us and Jackson State and myself and Omar. Because we play each other. You got to remember, we play each other so much in the postseason.
Yep.
Through my years, through my 16 years at Texas Southern, it's a lot of history. So, we're going to pop it off against, one of the best teams in our conference, So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate it. Yeah,
I agree with that, Coach. We'll let you go. We'll come right back after this break. I can't wait to catch up with you as we have some of our sessions at school. Thank you. Be safe out there. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this last break. We'll come up with our last interview. We're excited about it. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeversVoice.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want to loud and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Coach Jose Vasquez. But if you don't realize, he's won multiple SWAC championships. Also, in terms of those championships, he opened it up with the first championship with the expansion of the conference 2 years ago. So big time, was right in the mix going down the thread. Always annually has multiple 20, 25 win seasons. So if you don't recognize him, here he is with that. Welcome to the show, Coach.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Coach.
Go ahead, Charles. Take it away.
Well, Coach, no stranger to the bullseye on your chest. You opened up the season #1 in Black College Nines rankings. predicted to finish first in the SWAC East. But from your vantage point, looking at this upcoming season, talk to us a little bit about your 2024 Alabama State Hornets.
Well, you are right. We do, as our program continues to progress and do the things that we have been able to do, as you say, there's a little bit of a bull side, but we embrace it. I think it's better to be in that situation than I don't know, maybe some other situations that the game could bring to you. So I'm happy. We just it motivates us. It motivates me to continue to get the guys ready. We have a group that has worked extremely hard, and it's like a boxer. You don't want to overtrain right now. We're in the stages of maintenance. Went over everything that we feel the game is going to bring to us, and we're ready for Friday. But then more than just Friday, we're ready for the season, and it's always good to have opening day just around the corner. We got a good group. We got some veteran leadership. We got some guys that excuse me, that are gonna compete for us on not only on the mound but position players that have been there before, and a good combination of young and older guys. So I mean, we feel good. Once again, we'll see how we look and how we fare against somebody else. But as far as liking the team and how the talent looks, and not only that, but how they coming together, which is really the main thing. So far, things are good.
When I take a look at, you're deep as far as position players, and you dot the first and second team as far as preseason all SWAC. But for me, I always pay attention to your battery of pitchers. You always come into the season with a bevy of arms. Talk a little bit about the pitchers that we'll see this season for Alabama State.
Well, once again, you're right. You have to have the pitching in order to be able to not only compete at the conference level, but you have to compete in every game that you play. We lost some guys, but some guys that we had returning and some guys that we had coming in have definitely stepped up to the plate. To the likings of Shaddai Colon, returner from last year. Pitch quite a bit. Jordan LaBoy, another returner. We have Luis Rodriguez. Just to mention a few that are guys that are going to contribute on the mound. And then we have some young guys that look really good. And also a few junior college guys that I'm very impressed with. And, once again, we feel good. We feel good about the preparation. Once again, we'll see how everything goes as we get going. But as far as the preparation and the desire and the chemistry, we feel that all those things are in place.
Awesome.
Coach, let me follow up and talk a little bit about the schedule and your philosophy. We've noticed that you've always played a really tough non-conference schedule. But I love the fact that you get to open it up at home, celebrate your fans that have really now come in and really started celebrating this program more than ever. Obviously, you brought the championships to help maintain that, but you hosted at home. But then you get a chance to go down to legendary Vero Beach, Florida, play in the Andre Dawson Classic. Obviously, the last couple of years it's been in New Orleans, but now it moves. Talk a little bit about the mix in your schedule, and then highlight it with the Andre Dawson Classic, particularly that it's moving down to Florida.
Well, first of all, the schedule, we're extremely excited about every opponent that we have on the schedule. We have 27 home games. That is awesome, for our fans, as you say, for our fan base and our community to come out and see us. Our administration, our president, although his cabinet, everybody on and staff has done a tremendous job to continue to upgrade our facilities. We got some new things. We got some things that are still coming. So, I mean, when you see that the administration is behind you, once again, it's another piece to motivate us as coaches to continue to put the best product out there. Not only the best product from our side, but also to bring good competition in so we can continue to compete at the national level. We have Valpo coming up, obviously opening weekend. We also have aside from our conference, we continue to get better. We'll go to the Andre Dawson Classic, an event that is first class, put together by, Major League Baseball, and it just I'm humble and very grateful to be a part of that. And I talk to people from Major League Baseball, and as long as they want us, we will be there. It doesn't matter where it is, And once again, it's first class. We're looking forward to it. We have a tough, series down there, but at the end of the day, the thing that I'm worrying about right now is Valpo coming in on Friday. That's that's on my mind, and we'll worry about Saturday when Saturday gets here. But we're gonna try to play good baseball do our best to play good baseball on Friday, and hopefully come out on top.
With that, let me ask you a little more about the team itself. Obviously, Charles asked about the pitchers. You're deep in that area, but talk about some of the position players and then who we can expect at the bat. You are able to have players both that can play with the long ball, or they can play station to station and get big hits at big times.
Well, you know what? I thank you for the question. It's very unique. We're in a unique situation because we are a team that typically has been known for hitting doubles, doubles that eventually turn into home runs. And by trying to put a team together of that nature, we have ended up with a team that is able to do that and also very athletic, which is a great combination. So we, needless to say, like I said, I'm excited about that. We have 7 returners from last year's lineup. And I think that's when you go around the diamond, you got Jamal George, which is a freshman All-American. He's back. You have Jack Hay, which is he's an outstanding hitter. You have Randy Flores, which projected one of the best players in the conference. You got Kyler McIntosh, junior, a shortstop. You got Christian Lopez. You got Lee LePret playing right field, a guy that hit 13 home runs last year. And then you got a couple of options, in center field and left field, some younger guys and some JUCO transfers that have made a pretty good statement, to be in that opening day lineup. And everybody wants to be in that opening day lineup, but at the end of the day, if I tell you how in the years that I've been coaching that opening day lineup is pretty much 100% not the same lineup that you're playing at the end of the year, it's that's how it typically goes. So once again, a lot of the guys that everybody wants to be there on Friday, but only 9 can play, and the other ones need to be ready so when their name is called, and hopefully they can produce.
Well, let me follow up on that, Coach, in terms of try to pick your brain a little bit here, especially when you have a veteran ball club like yours. Does it buy you a little bit of time in terms of integrating the JUCO players or the younger players into the lineup, and in terms of giving them games where you can see them? Does it buy you time when you have a veteran team like you have?
Well, when you have a veteran team, let me tell you what it does first and foremost. A lot of the times when they, especially with the group that I have that have been under our program and the way that we do things for more than 2 years, most of them, it's a team that at times coach themselves. They hold each other accountable, and that's a good thing. So the younger guys get to learn fairly quick on what not to do and how things are expected. So does it buy me a little bit of time? Yeah. When you're trying to fill in a way just a few spots here and there, you get to put those guys that are, everybody's battling for something, but obviously you go based on
I think we lost.
Yeah, it looks like we might have lost Coach Vasquez.
A little bit. We'll see. Give him a chance maybe to log back in. But this will give us a chance to talk a little bit about, as you said, the Ralph Garr, Bill Lucas Classic that's hosted by Atlanta Braves, historically Black university, where you got 2 of their Braves Hall of Famers with the legendary Ralph Garr jumping in and Bill Lucas. Looks like we got Vasquez jumping back in here.
I apologize for that. My daughter was calling me and I hit the wrong button.
It happens.
No problem.
Yeah.
No, I apologize. But it's it buys me a little bit of time to give those guys opportunities to see what they can do, how they fit into our philosophy. and it creates something that is always pretty to see, which is how competitive they are and how bad you want it. And I've seen it. I have some tough decisions that I had to make. Not that everybody else was already set as far as the lineup, but I have learned over the years that that experience is very hard to replace, at this level. So when you have that kind of experience, those guys have been there before. I think the butterflies at the beginning of the year are a little different, even though we all get them. Even me as a coach, I'm excited to get going, but I think those butterflies go away sooner when you are, an older guy and been there in that situation before than the younger guys. But it's always good to have a mixture of both, and that's kind of where we are. And I look forward. I think you guys will start hearing some names of some younger guys that are, when it's all said and done, are going to be pretty special.
Man, we look forward to it as always, Coach. We certainly would like to have you back if we can find a way to schedule in. I know baseball season is so rough and rugged. It's hard to put in that time, but if we can, we'll certainly love to get you back in and give us a couple of updates here and there. But if not, we certainly will see you in Atlanta for the SWAC Baseball Championship. We'll be down there watching your team, because we imagine it's hard to imagine that you won't find a way to be in the mix with all that. Lastly, I do want to tease out a little bit. You kind of tease us a little bit, and we're making plans to see if we can get on the road a little bit with the show, particularly for baseball, because we haven't did that before, and we're adding that. So we'll see if we can find a way to get to Montgomery. We'll let you know. We won't get in the way in terms of your preparation for a game, but we'd love to come down there and kind of get a bird's eye view. But you teased about some things with the facility. You can't hold out. Kind of tell us a little bit what's some of the nice things that you added to this already facility that continues to be one of the best in the conference.
Well, let me tell you, we have a brand new covered batting cages, and that was a need for us, and also something that it's hard to explain how big of a difference that's going to make, and that's already made, to have something like that, and where to practice in a way really never gets to be canceled unless there's really, storms and things of that nature. And we also have which is going to be installed in the next 2 weeks. We got a brand new scoreboard. We got a digital scoreboard. We got a video board coming along with that. And that's going to do great things for our program as you continue to develop the fan experience, for people to come in and in between innings, play music, play videos, mound visits, things of that nature that we all love to see when we go into programs that have that the ability to do that. So we do have that coming in, and our field looks great. We continue to, we're gonna add some more stands, bench in order to hold more people. So, Montgomery loves baseball. Alabama State is a great place. The fans and the community, I know they're excited for us to go out there and compete. And obviously, once the weather starts getting a little better, I think we're going to have a pretty good turnout every game. So we're excited, and I want to thank you guys. You guys have been awesome to not only me but to our program. And anytime that we can, be in the show, and hopefully you guys can do that and come to different places, that you're more than welcome to Montgomery, and we will make time for you guys. You guys have been really good to us.
No doubt about it. Great. I'm glad you didn't hold back and shared all that with us, because I knew it was a nice tease. You had to get that information out there. And the fact that adding stands, that's a great problem to have, Coach. You spend more than enough time with us, and very gracious, and we appreciate you. We want to make sure you can get to your daughter as well with that. But we appreciate all that you do for SWAC baseball, obviously Alabama State, the community and the program down there. And just for baseball in general, we need that to continue to tell the story and giving various players the opportunity. So we thank
you. Indeed. And thank you for the promo, Coach.
Thank you, fellas. Absolutely. Anytime. You know how it is. Just let me know. We'll make something happen.
We'll do.
We'll be back again right after this last break. We'll have one more for you, so stick with us, and then we'll close it up as we give you all the information you need for the baseball programs out there. Stick with us. Be right back after this last break.
Itchy? Squirmy? Scratchy? Family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm. Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
And welcome back to Dr. Ville's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, the baseball preview edition. And of course, we have with us Coach Jamie Shoup of the SWAC tournament champion, Florida A&M Rattlers. Coach Shoup, welcome into the show.
Thank you, Charles. Glad to be here.
I tell you what, you guys had a tremendous showing in the SWAC tournament last year. Like I said, you guys won the SWAC tournament, but first SWAC championship for the Florida A&M Rattler program. What does it mean for the program?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, when we left the MEAC to come to the SWAC, my first, my first discussions were, we're going to have to get better, because SWAC baseball was better than MEAC baseball. And I don't say that as a slight to MEAC baseball. We won a couple of championships in 6-7 years there, but just the level of play is better. The whole conference as a whole, not only in baseball, in my opinion, but in other sports as well. I mean, the leadership under Dr. McClellan has done nothing but grow the SWAC baseball, SWAC conference even more. So I knew we were going to have to be better to compete. I thought we did well our first season, which was the 22 season. Had a couple of errors that hurt us, that kept us out of the semifinals. But this year we got a little lucky. We played well. I felt like we were in the tougher division. The Southern Division, I felt like, was tougher last year with Alabama State, being Alabama State, the defending champions that year, with Bethune-Cookman being, Bethune-Cookman. And you've seen the history they had in the MEAC for years. Yeah. So, it was telling in the championship, you had Bethune on one side and us on the other playing for the championship in the tournament. So, I thought our side was good, and that, we finished third, I think, in the regular season, but we played good baseball. Down the stretch, we didn't play well, but we didn't have our catalyst, which is our center fielder, Ty Jackson. He was able to get healthy and come back for the tournament. And as a result of that, I mean, he is no doubt the straw that stirred our drink, and will do that again for us this year as well.
No doubt. Speaking of Ty Jackson, he was one of 4 named preseason all SWAC first team selection. But you had 4 that were named to the first team all SWAC. In terms of bringing guys back, what does that mean for your program this year?
Well, we had a good offensive year last year. We didn't pitch extremely well outside of 2 guys, Hunter Veets, who was, I thought, one of the best, if not the best pitcher in the SWAC this season. He was that Friday night guy that had a little intimidation factor. Guys looked at his numbers, and they knew, other teams looked at his numbers and knew that they had their hands full on Friday night, not only in conference, but out of conference. He pitched extremely well, every time he took the hill. And then the guy that we ended the season closing with, that got a save or pitched in every game of the tournament and got every save of every win that we had in the tournament, Zach Morey. Both of those guys are gone. So we lost that, but we did return a very, very good offense. We do return a very good offense. We lost 2 guys. We lost Hanchy, our catcher, and Weber, our left fielder. They hit 2-3 in our lineup. But we returned Bastardo, who is hit 13 home runs for us last year. Greco, our first baseman, who had a school record 17 home home runs last year. I mentioned Ty Jackson. He's back leading all for us once he gets healthy. He had a pretty bad break of his ankle in the fall, first game of the fall, and had that tightrope procedure to secure his ankle. He's limited right now. We may not see him for the first month of the season. We'll see him in limited role, but not in a starting role.
Sure.
So we got, Joe, our second baseman, Joe Perini, that had 8 home runs and led our team with 21 doubles last year. So I like our offense. Our pitching is not, we don't have the frontline guys in Veets. We don't have a Veets this year. But we do have more depth than we had last year. So I like the looks of our rotation. It's not going to be as Veets was at 92, 94. We don't have that guy, but we have, several guys that pitch in the upper 80s to low 90s that are certainly capable of helping us have a good season and hopefully repeating as SWAC champions this year.
Certainly huge shoes to fill when you talk about Hunter Beats. But I want to ask, who moves into that Friday starting role for your pitching staff?
We had a little kid named Caleb Granger last year. And Caleb ended up pitching the final game the first game in the regional against Florida, a game that we got beat 3-0 by the number 2 team in the country. Pitched extremely well, gave up 2 of the 3 runs. Well, 2 of the runs he gave up, both happened in the first inning. Hung a changeup and the guy hit it out for a 2-run home run. And then settled down and gave us 6 good innings after that, shutout innings after that. He really came on late. Plus, he put on 30 pounds in the offseason, which is, he needed to. Yeah. But that's not easy to do. His velo's up a little bit. He's got good mound presence. He'll step into that Friday night role initially. Right now, a guy that's really made a lot of strides is a left-handed pitcher named Trey Simmons that threw in the tournament against Alabama State, threw very, very well. He's made tremendous strides going into his senior year. He was a junior college transfer last year and was very inconsistent. But right now, he has earned the right to be our number 2 guy. And then our third guy is a transfer from East Tennessee State by the name of Trevor Hanselman. And Hanselman's probably our best velo guy. He's a guy that's 91, 93 occasionally. Will pop a 4, but he'll pitch around 90 miles an hour. Once he settles in with command, he's got a chance. He's got best curveball on the team, best velocity on the team. He just needs to learn the pitchability process a little bit better. So right now, we'll start with those 3 guys. We've got Ray Wagner, an experienced senior that transferred over when I got Brett coming from Alcorn State. Ray came with him. He'll pitch. We have a 4-game series to start the season before we head down to the Andre Dawson Classic in Vero Beach. And he'll pitch that Sunday game as well. Dallas Tees, a guy that started a few games for us last year that's got some experience. We've got some experience. Most of those guys, like Trey Simmons, didn't have a particularly good year last year. Caleb Granger's year was just okay. I think all those guys have made tremendous strides. And it's been good. This spring has been good. This preseason has been very good for us because we can hit a little bit. And with that comes a challenge to our pitchers. So our pitchers have had to be better this preseason as well, just to be able to be competitive and make our scrimmages competitive with the offense that we've been able to trot out there so far. So we'll see how the season plays out. There are a lot of things that have to happen, luck being one of them, to repeat or to win a championship or repeat as a championship in a championship. But we're just looking forward to the challenge. We're looking forward more than anything else to play somebody other than ourselves in scrimmage right now. So, 3 weekends, you can do what you want to as a coach. You can say what you want to, but the bottom line is about this time of year, practice sucks. Everybody wants to play the games.
Sure.
So we're ready to play somebody else. Unfortunately for us, our out-of-conference schedule, and I say that, I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate because it certainly works in our favor last year. We played the 3rd toughest out-of-conference schedule in the country last year. This year's out-of-conference schedule may be tougher than last year. A lot of people do that differently. They try to play lesser competition to build confidence. We play a very, very tough schedule. Sometimes I'll look at and want to know who does the scheduling so I can get on to them, but I can't fire myself. So I do all the scheduling, and I'm wondering what I was thinking. This year's schedule is tougher than last year's. I do think. out of conference schedule. We played 25 out of conference opponents. 14 of those 25 went to either a regional or a super regional.
Wow.
So we opened the season against Eastern Illinois this Friday, play a 4-game series against them. They're led by Jason Anderson, their head coach, who pitched in the Yankees for Major League Baseball for the Yankees. They were a regional team last year. We've got Indiana State, a super regional team coming in the 4th weekend of the season. We go to Florida, we go to Auburn and play. Regional teams. Troy was 1 game away from beating Alabama, going to a super regional last year. Our schedule's tough again this year. Ball State, people don't think about Ball State. They're coming in. They were a
great program. Yeah.
So we play a very tough out of conference schedule. Hopefully it'll work to our advantage like it did last year. There's no reason going into conference play that we should be intimidated by anyone. We will not see better arms in conference play than we see out of conference play. We won't see better hitters in conference play than we've seen out of conference play. We'll see some very good hitters because this conference, as I alluded to earlier, is a very, very good baseball conference. But we're looking forward to playing anybody, even if it is a regional or a super regional team, just to play somebody other than scrimmaging all the time. So it's an exciting time of the year for our kids, for us as coaches. Very excited about my coaching staff this year. I've got Brett, who's been with me. It's ironic. Brett's been with me since the beginning, but then left to go to Alcorn State to become the head coach there. Came back last year. So I think this is Brett's 5th season. And of the 3 championships that we've won since I've been here in 10 years, Brett's only been here 5 and he's won 2.
Wow.
He's got a better percentage in terms of wins in conference, championships than I do. And then I've got 2 young coaches in Jeremiah McCullum and Tucker Rabin. Both of them played on our 2019 championship MEAC team that went to compete in Georgia Tech in the regional there. And it brings some youth and enthusiasm to our program. Jeremiah McCullum, I call him Jam, was our closer. He'll be our pitching coach. Tucker Rabin will help Brett with the hitters and also work with our catchers, which we haven't had. We haven't had anybody that specifically works with our catchers. And we do in Tucker Rabin now. He called for us in 2020 in that season after played first base in 19, caught in 20. So he's got some versatility as a position player. And I'm just excited about that as much as anything. That makes it fun when you got some youth, especially when you got me. And although Brett's 10 years younger than me, he looks older than I do. So we're excited about the season. Though. We are.
No doubt about it, Coach. I know everybody's excited about it. You guys kick things off. You mentioned it. 4-game set this weekend, starting this Friday. You mentioned it next week. You got the Andre Dawson Classic. So exciting time of the year. Swag Baseball on tap. FAMU Baseball on tap. And we thank you for stopping by Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Baseball Preview. So we'll be right back.
All season, man. It's baseball season. That's great. That's great words right there. Thank you.
Talking to you.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Great stuff.
I'm in the middle of the
in terms of what that looks like. You got a little background there. Roy, mute your phone there. We got a little great interviews. Charles, I want to give you kudos for setting this up. You talked about the need to do it, and I said, hey, I'm with you 100%. And you took all the work to line up these interviews. I know you had a lot more coming. And we'll find a way to get those in there, record them based on their time, and play throughout the season. As we say, we're going to look forward to see if we can find a way to get on the road. We got some opportunity and work with these coaches as they work with us about how we can make that happen. But just wanted to get your general thoughts in terms of SWAC baseball.
Yeah, I mean, when you stop and take a look at it, and I've mentioned this, just the parity. I mean, you look up and down the first and second teamers. You have Florida A&M, Alabama State, Texas Southern, Bethune-Cookman. It's a lot of great baseball being played, a lot of great players in this conference. And not to mention, you got North Carolina A&T ranked in the top 10 in the Baseball Nines top 10 poll. You got Coppin State ranked number 10, I believe, in the Black College Nines baseball poll. So you got some great players at these teams within the conference. And I tell you what, whether you're talking SWAC East or SWAC West, we're going to watch some phenomenal baseball this season. I can't wait to get on the road and cover it. Can't wait to get up and close with some great baseball weekend action.
Yeah, let me go down there and give some love out there to blackcollege9.com. Those gentlemen over there do a great job in terms of what they do. Shout out to Black College Nines. Let's do the small school division. We call it mid-major division, 2024 preseason poll. They have tied at 10 is Dillard University and Wiley University. At number 9, you have West Virginia State. At number 8, Payne College. At number 7, Bluefield State University. At number 6, Edward Waters University. Top 5 programs at the small school division, mid-major level, is number 5 is Savannah State. Number 4, Albany State University. Number 3, Rusk College, Charles. At number 2, Talladega College. At number 1, Florida Memorial. See, now we got your excuse for putting in this extra work on Valentine's Day. We did find a way to shout out Rusk.
We better make sure we mention Rusk, yes.
On the large college process, you talked a little bit about those programs out of the MEAC that are playing in the NEC. Be interesting to see if they can take the next step. Coppin State had a really solid season last year. Be interesting to find a way to get in the mix and climb up the ranks in the NSC. But in terms of Black College 9, they sit at number 10. Coppin State University at number 9. You talked about the North Carolina A&T in terms of what they're doing in the Colonial, now known as the Coastal. Be fascinating to see if that program can take the next step. You know, they had a nice run to kind of close up things in the MEAC. Yeah. Took a step back, and Central made that final run before they actually closed down the program. It'd be great to hear that they bring that program back. We'll see what that looks like. But A&T, can they kind of turn back and reorg that program as they prepare to play some baseball again in the Coastal? At number 8, when you get into the SWAC, and you'll see this is a dominant name. Starting at 8, Texas Southern University, as they will be in the Cactus Jack Classic this weekend, along with number 7, Southern University. Guess what? We're not finished. You got number 6, Prairie View A&M, and number 5, Jackson State, and number 4, Radlin State University. Those 5 programs are included in the Cactus Jack. You talking about mixing up early when your top 10 teams are knocking things off to get it done. The only one left out of there is Alcorn State. We'll see if they can make maybe a little push to find a way to jump in the top 10, as they will play all these teams in that round that are in the top 10. Let's get into the top 3. We just interviewed Coach Shue. His Rattlers at number 3. At number 2, we also had a great interview with Coach Hernandez over there at Bethune-Cookman University getting it done. And number 1, you heard it from that split. Alabama State is number 1, as Charles talked about in the interview coming out of there. Be interesting to see how long these teams can hold on to the spot. Can they move up? Will they move down? Some of them may eventually, unfortunately, may move out of that. We'll keep you updated with baseball throughout the season in various ways with updates, interviews, as well as keeping you up on the Black College 9. So I'm fascinated to see all this going on. Any final comments from you, Charles?
Well, yeah, let me shout out Coach Jonathan Hernandez, who just texted me one day out of the blue. It's like, I got a great idea for you. And that was the wellspring for this baseball preview in terms of getting that off the ground. So I want to thank Coach Jonathan Hernandez and I thank the SIDs and coaches for taking the time in terms of putting this together so that we can bring HBCU baseball to a growing fan base who really, really loves and appreciates baseball. So it was a labor of love to put this together.
Softball, we hadn't forgot about you. You showed us love. Coaches will find a way to make that happen. You know you deserve it. We certainly will continue to talk about softball in terms of the record. Some significant programs out there continuing to get the work. So we're excited about that as well. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with our regular scheduled show. We'll get into the mid-majors in terms of basketball, both men's and women's, and give you some love there as we look at what's going to take place this weekend from a basketball perspective as we're down the stretch. I have to be remiss if I didn't tell you, make sure you check out on Saturday if you're in front watching some CBS in the basketball games. None other than Dr. Charles McCullen will be on there interviewing as he's up there in NCAA prepping, as now he's the lead guy.
Wow.
In terms of the basketball. turning in seatings. And so he takes his chair in the seat. He'll be on there for an interview to talk about some updates of how that's looking. So another way to make sure that SWAC brand is getting out there when you get your commissioner, been getting the FaceTime, and this time talking about being the highest figure for basketball at the collegiate level around the world. So with that, we'll say thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Thank you for watching our special edition. We stretched it out, but we wanted to give you as much interviews as possible and really take a deep dive in baseball from an HBCU perspective, obviously focusing on the SWAC. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Dill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. Check us out as we look at the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyattacavil. That's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Roy?
Lecture.
Dismiss.